Hello, my name is Josue Soto. Today I'll be talking about Chapter 7. So, in Chapter 7, we talk a lot about property management. We learn about the duties and the requirements of property managers who are agents for property owners. Um, a very important aspect is the contract. Some property managers are realtor members and receive their forms from their state realtor association. Um, many property managers are members of the National Association of Resident Residential Property, um, residential property managers, um, and they use their standard leases and contracts. Usually, larger companies of property management firms have the authority to write and like use their own forms, their own customized forms to their company. Um, it's very important as a professional property owner that you remember your property management, that the property management field is very litigious due to both eviction and tenant rights. So for my first key concept, um, it is going to be talking about landlord and tenants. So usually a landlord is the person who owns the property or like the land that's on the property, like usually both. And a tenant is tends to be someone who is either going to rent, who is renting a property or leasing a property. So when we talk about rent and lease, what's the difference? So a lease is a contract for a set time. Usually a lease lasts between a year or more. Um, as for rental, this is a little bit different. A rental is usually made on a monthly basis and is renewable at the end of each period. So for my second key concept is going to be talking about a leasehold and less than freehold. So a leasehold is a personal property right in real estate property. With less than freehold estate, there is no direct ownership of the real estate. Um, there are chattel real estates. So a chattel is a personal property estate, such as a lease. A leasehold is an exclusive right to a company and use the property on a temporary basis. So that's on page 209. So for my third concept, is right and obligation. So this usually is like something for the landlord. So after the minimum requirements, just to like submit a submission or like application to to want to rent, like live in a house that someone's renting. They can have like other additional requirements such as um, such as how like the amount of the rent, the security deposit, liability for injured or repaired stuff. Um, so that goes all into like the rights of obligation parties. So in summary, we go over in chapter 7. We go over a lot of property management, what's important about that. My key concepts from what I learned is like obviously the relationship between a tenant and a landlord. I also learned the leaseholds and freeholds and what those can do, and I also learned more about like obligations